Hashem, Elokeinu El Echad, Tzadik Hashem, Bechol Drachav, Bechasid B'ma'asav. Shema Yisrael Hashem, Elokeinu El Echad, Avinu El HaMeyuchad.
When you consider Hashem as a father, as a mother, He will be next to you. The parasha of this week is the parasha of Yitro, the parasha of the Ten Commandments. And the parasha of next week is the parasha of Mishpatim. Mishpatim is the laws that Hashem gives to the Bnei Israel. And after the parasha of Mishpatim, there is the parasha of Teruma and Tetzaveh. Those two parashiot, they talk about the building of the tabernacle, the Mishkan. So now let's talk about Matan Torah first. And the parasha of Matan Torah, it talk about Vayishma Yitro. Yitro heard. He heard two things. Usually, when somebody wants to do something, if you want to invest money on something, because you hear that this stock is a good stock in the market, so you invest money on that. Always by hearing things. I heard the news. We have. If we had no ears to hear, so we'll be in problems. It's like when I travel, I don't hear news. So after 1 week that I am in Argentina or in New York, I don't know any kind of news, because all the news is with people, listening problems. But real news, what's going on in the world, you have to ask, you have to listen. But if nobody tell me what's going on, so I don't know. So Yitro heard the news. What the news he heard? He heard Kriyat Yam Suf. What it is Kriyat Yam Suf in English?
The crossing the Yam Suf,
the sea. When the Jews crossed the sea. When Moshe Rabbeinu, he hit the sea, and the sea divided, and the Jews went inside, and when the Jews arrived to the other side, the Egyptians were behind them, and then they were drowned in the water. That's what Yitro heard. And then he heard Milchemet Amalek. He heard the fight of Amalek. He heard those two kind of this fight between Amalek and the Jews. That pushed Yitro to come to the desert and to convert to the Judaism. So the question is, it's only Yitro who heard this. Why people did not hear? When there is a news, the news it's for everybody. The same way that Yitro heard the news, so everybody heard the news about the split of the sea. So why only Yitro came? Why not the others? Or did only Yitro heard? Everybody heard. So why the others did not come? Why only Yitro came to convert himself? If I am among 10, I live in a city, and I hear a big miracle, and I am impressed with the miracle, so I decide to convert myself for this miracle that Hashem did. So how it's possible that only me, I convert myself, not the others? The same way that I heard, they heard. So what's special on me? Why only me? That pushed me to convert myself, not the others. Did you understand my question?
Absolutely.
The second question, there were a lot of miracles in Egypt that probably, and most probably, Yitro heard. The 10 plagues that Hashem bring to the Egyptian. So my question is, those 10 plagues, they were fabulous, they were miraculous, they were fantastic. The whole world heard about them. Even Yitro heard about them. Why Yitro, he was not pushed by those miracles to come to convert himself? Even a lot of Egyptians, when the Jews left Egypt, a lot of Egyptians, a lot of Egyptians, they left Egypt and they went and they converted themselves. So the question is, how it's possible that only Yitro came to the desert to convert himself? No one came. Why only those 2 miracles that Yitro heard push him to come? What about the 10 miracles that Yitro heard that happened in Egypt? They were not enough strong to push him to come to convert himself. For me, the play of that the river become blood, it's a miracle. I mean, there was a river, 6,000 kilometers of river, the Nilus. The first Makkah, the first play that Hashem gave to Paro is that the river, they become blood, from water to blood. People, Jewish people, they drink water from there. It was water. An Egyptian, he will drink in the same glass with a Jew, he will drink blood, and the other is drinking water. Is it not a big miracle that, Sheldon?
Absolutely.
So why that it did not impress Yitro to come to convert himself? Why? I would like just to tell you something, Sheldon. How much a man, it's important for him to be a Jew, a good Jew, to be inspired by people who believe in Hashem. You know, with all the problems I go through, I have a big responsibility. I need hundreds of thousands of dollars every month to support all my yeshivot all over the world, to support people who need. And sometimes I have people who are against me, who talk bad about me. And sometimes I say to myself, why I have to kill myself for other people? Even thank you, there is no thank you. Why I have to suffer? On one hand, I support Torah. On the other hand, there is sometimes that people are against me for no reason, just by jealousy. Sometimes I feel down. People think that Rabbi David Pito has no problem. People think that Rabbi David Pito is a tzaddik, he's happy, whatever he wants, he has it. Because they see me smiling, they see me talking, they see me, some people see on me a big psycholog, a big psychiater that I help people. And people think I have no problem. But people don't think that I have the same problems like everyone. I am diabetic, I have cholesterol, and so I have problems in my eyes, I don't sleep, I always have stress problems to pay all the 100 families that I support every month. And sometimes till the last minute I don't have nothing, and Hashem helped me at the end. People think I have no problem. Because I am Rabbi David Pinto. I would like just to tell to those people, the more I feel close to Hashem, the more I become more known, I have more problems. The more you grow, the more problems grow as well. Family problems, children problems, relative problems, friends problems, yeshivot problems, political problems, all kind of problems I have to face. Until I can't sleep. I sleep only a few hours a night. And people, but what makes me strong? Emunah. Faith on Hashem. With the emunah that I have on Hashem, the faith that I have on Hashem, that put me in a big position to fight my problems, not to get down, and to be strong, and to face them, and to try to... All the problem where people feel down because they have a problem, they know how to face them, that's it, finished. But me, with emunah that I have on Hashem, I fight my problems. I fight them. And I win. If I don't win, so I will say to Hashem, well, Hashem must help me now. I can't win. I have no strength. You help me. I need you. So only that thought give me confidence on me. We need confidence. When a man has confidence on himself, that he can get what he wants. With emunah on Hashem, of course, confidence on... I have my own confidence that Hashem will not let me down. And that can give you a hope. When you have hope, it's a bitachon. Kavi El Hashem. My hope is Hashem. And then, even if I will not resolve my problem, well, at least I will not get depressed because of this problem. Why this problem? I will face it. I will face it one day. And then in the meantime, HaKadosh will send me something the next month and after 2 months that I will pay back everybody, and then I forget, that's it. But most important is, with the problems that we face today, we need hizuk. We need to get stronger and stronger. And we need, so always I read stories about my grandfathers, about tzaddikim, about Avraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, how they were strong, how they resist all their problems, all their tests. And Hashem tested Abraham, and Hashem tested Abraham, and Hashem tested Yitzhak, and Hashem tested Yaakov, all kind of tests. And Yaakov, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, knowing that all those kind of tests, they came from Hashem, and they knows the more they will resist the test, the more they will show to Hashem how much they love Hashem. And that test make you, when you don't feel the test, that make you stronger. That make you a better Jew. That make you a man that you will be always attached to Hashem. The more you resist the test, the more. But how can we resist the test if we don't have somebody from whom to learn? So in my office, always have pictures of tzaddikim. Always I am surrounded with books, holy books. Always I look at them. Always I look up the pictures of the tzaddikim, and that give me koach, give me strength. That David, you are not less than those tzaddikim. Learn from them. Resist. And through books I read, through Torah that I read, I get more strength and more strength. That's it. That give me strength, even if I sleep less. That gives me strength to face all kind of problems. All kind of problems. I want to tell you a story, a beautiful story that happened a few weeks ago. I was in Marseille. There was a man who came to see me, and he told me that for me it's a beautiful story. That he told me, Rabbi David, last year I compromised €1,000 for you, and then I did not have money to give you the €1,000. And then you came this year, and I was a little bit upset that I wanted to see you, but I was afraid, I was worried, I was ashamed to come to see you without giving you my compromise. I told him, I stopped. I told him, forget it. I forgive you. Forget it. He said, no, Rabbi. No, I want to tell you the story. And Baruch Hashem, Rabbi, you should know that, Baruch Hashem, I have the money to pay my compromise, and I have another some money more to give you. I want just to tell you this. I had 2 euros in my pocket. And I prayed to Hashem, please Hashem, help me to win in the lotto. I don't want to win. I don't want to be a millionaire, I said to Hashem. I want to have only enough money to pay my debt. To give to Rabbi David Pinto 1,000 euros that I owe him, and I give him a little bit more. And then for the rest of the money, to have enough money to live the year. I don't need more than 20,000 euros. Please Hashem. So I was looking at him, and I was laughing. And I said, so tell me what happened. He said, well, I went and I bought the lotto, I filled the lotto, I spent my 2 euros with emunah, with faith on Hashem, that Hashem will help me. I have a big emunah, that Hashem will not let me down. And besides it, I did not ask him I did not ask him millions of euros. I only asked him for 20,000 of euros. It's not a big deal. It's not a big money for Hashem to give me. So I was laughing. I said, so what happened? He said, well, Rabbi David, I want 20,000 euro. What do you say, huh?
I don't know. What do you
Ay. I said, Michigan, why didn't I ask millions of euros so you can give me the maaser? Why didn't I ask for 100 million? Why ask only 20? So he said, well, I needed only 20. I asked for 20, and I go to 20. So when I heard that story, that was a big strength for me. Because of him, I had a problem last week. I needed money last week. And I said to Hashem, the same way you did to that man, you have to do to me. I need money as well. And I promise you, since last week and this week, Hashem is sending me people, behemoth, that if you see them, you will not think that they can give you more than $10. And this one he give me, and this one he give me, and this one he give me. I couldn't believe it. And I paid Baruch Hashem, and I paid everybody. So you see, we live in a world that there is a big Yitzhara. The Yitzhara want to disconnect you from Hashem. The Yitzhara want to disconnect you from Hashem. So, problems of each day. Family problems, all kinds of problems, there is problems, problems. But we need to have emunah, faith, on Hashem, hope, kaveh el Hashem, to hope Hashem can help you. Connect yourself to Hashem through tefillot. Yes, there is problem, there is solutions. There is no problem. Hashem not create a problem without a solution next to the problem. It's up to you. Okay, you might tell me, but my solutions are not over. They are not over. So we tell you, hey sir, the problems are not forever. So, they are not over, but they are not forever. Pray. Maybe Hashem, He will give you a solution that He can resolve all your problems. Who knows? So don't fail. The Tzara want to make out of you a failure. You fail, but you should not fail. You have to be strong. You have to be strong and strong and strong. So, my friend, through stories, I get my strength. Through the Torah, I get my strength. I'm talking about myself. So I would like just to tell you, just do like me. But with real emunah. Real emunah on Hashem. So now you understand. Yitro, he was Kohen Midian. He was a priest. He was the priest of the Avodah Zarah, of kind of idolatry. Yitro, he had a big problem. People, in one hand, he is a priest. He represents all kind of Avodah Zarah. And on the other hand, people, they respect him. On the other hand, Peter knows that he lives in the shaker. He's lying to himself. He knows that the Avodah Zarah, the idolatry is nothing. That God, He is God. That the idolatry, it's not Avodah Zarah. You cannot think that the sun is the God. The moon, it's God. At the time, people, they consider the moon or the sun or the trees or they consider animals as they represent God. And Yitro knows all this is not true. He started to realize that the only God is the one who created everything. And to him you should pray. But on the other hand, he's making money. Glorious. Because he's a priest. So now how can he disconnect himself from all this and to become a man of God? Of course he heard a lot of miracles that Hashem did in Egypt. But that, of course, it impressed him. But to push him for the place he was, it was not possible. He needed somebody to push him. So it happened something that happened not far from Midian. It happened because Midian is not far from the sea, Yam Suf. When the sea when the Jews crossed the sea. So there was Tzipora. Tzipora, she was a tzaddiket. Now, before I would talk about Tzipora, I would like just to tell you how Moshe Rabbeinu met Tzipora. He met Tzipora on Midian. Why Moshe Rabbeinu did not marry a woman from a Jewish woman? Not why a Tzipora, a Goya that converted herself, a converted woman. Why Moshe Rabbeinu, the one who was talking to God, he did not marry a Jewish woman, a woman from Egypt. All the Jewish people, they were in Egypt. So he should marry a woman from Egypt. Why Hashem made that Moshe, he met a Goya, a Jew, a Goya, that she was not Jew. And she converted herself. At that time, the conversion were easy. Anyone who wants to convert himself, he just say, I don't want to be idolatry, I want to believe in God. So, he become a man. At that time, there was no Jewish people. He become a man that he's like a Jew. After that Hashem gives the Torah to the Bnei Israel, if somebody wants to become Jew, so he has to go to the Beit Din. He has to go to rabbis. It's the rabbis who decide for him. But at the time before Hashem gives the Torah to the Jews, anyone who wanted to be Jew, just he said, I want to be a Jew. I want to convert myself. I want to believe now in God, in Hashem. And that's it. That's what happened. That's what happened before Hashem gave the Torah. So, Moshe Rabbeinu, the question is, how Moshe Rabbeinu met Tzipora? Why he married Tzipora? Why he will not go to Egypt and marry a Jewish woman from there? So the answer is, Tzipora, she was a big tzaddiket. I saw one book, he said, this Tzipora, if Hashem would not send her a man who believed on him, who will marry her? She was a tzaddiket. Who's gonna marry her? That's why Hashem sent Moshe. He sent Moshe to Midian to meet Tzipora so he can marry Tzipora, the tzaddiket. From here you understand a woman who pray to Hashem for a good mazal, Hashem will send her a good mazal. Tzipora, she was a tzaddiket. She was a converted woman by herself. And she wanted to marry a Jew, somebody who believed in Hashem. But there was none. Everybody were over there Avodah Zarah. Everybody at that time, they believed only on idolatry. For them, no way to approach God. You can only approach God through idolatry. So who will marry that woman? So Hashem sent her Moshe. The same way Hashem sent Yaakov to Haran to marry Rachel, Leah, Bilhah, and Zilpah, that they believe in Hashem. So you see, Hashem can send to a woman a good mazal even if she live in the desert. Just pray to Hashem, He will send you a good mazal. So Tzipora, she was a big tzaddiket, and she fighted her parents. So now you understand. Tzipora, she was the one who pushed her father, Yitro. Hey, Papa, you heard a lot of miracles that Hashem did to the Jews in Egypt. Are you not impressed? Yes, of course I am impressed. Papa, I am married to Moshe, and I have 2 kids. And Moshe is the Shaliach of Hashem. Let's go. Let's go to live with them. Yes, we will go. That was his answer. The miracles that he heard, they were far away from him. But the 2 miracles that happened, when the Jews crossed the sea, that was not far from Yitro. And that Yitro, he could not deny this miracle. So that pushed him to come. But who helped Yitro to come? Who gave him the strength to come to convert himself? It was Tzipora, his daughter. Yitro already believed in Hashem. The Gemara said that Paro, he had 3 advisors who advised him. Bil'am, Iyov, and Yitro. When Paro said to them, advise me what to do, because I have a feeling that somebody from the Jewish people, he can overthrow me. What can I do? So they told him, kill all the children, leave only the woman. That was the advice that they tell him, his advisors. So Paro, he asked his 3 close advisors, Yitro, Bil'am, and Iyov. Bil'am said, Paro, listen to your advisors. Kill them. Kill the children. Iyov, he did not answer. He said, well, I don't know what to advise you. That's what Job. Job, he said, I don't know what to advise you. Yitro, he said, give me till tomorrow, I'll give you an advice. But what did Yitro? He ran away. He ran away from Egypt and he went to Midian. That was a message to Paro. You are a fool to kill them. Paro was very angry. He wanted to kill Yitro, but in the meantime Yitro was not there anymore. He ran away. So you see that Yitro, he believed in God. He believed already in God. But it's not enough only to believe in God. You need to believe in Hashem, and you need to believe in Hashem. You can be weak one day. You need always to be strong and strong. Strong and strong. To believe in Hashem, it's one thing, but there is a tzara. So on one hand, he believed in Hashem. That's why he ran away from Egypt, because he believed that he cannot give this advice to Paro to kill the children of Israel. Because even if he killed them, Hashem, he will do a miracle that one of them will escape and he will deliver the Jews and he will overthrow Pharaoh. So that was the conviction of Yitro. So that means that Yitro believed in Hashem, but he needed somebody to push him. So Tzipora was the one. That's why Yitro, he couldn't stop, he couldn't deny the last miracle that happened near him, not far from him, Kriyat Yam Suf, with the Jews crossed the sea. That was not possible to put that away. You may ask me, how much Tzipora she was tzaddiket? Well, you see in the Torah, that the Torah tell you, when Moshe Rabbeinu married Tzipora, and he had 2 children, and the last one that he had, he couldn't do the Brit Milah to him, because he had to go to Egypt. And there is a law that when you want to travel in the desert, you cannot do a Brit Milah to a baby till you arrive to destination. And then, when Moshe Rabbeinu he went to Egypt with his wife and children, he had a baby boy, but he did not do the Brit Milah because he had to go to Egypt. In the middle of the trip, Moshe Rabbeinu was looking for a hotel. And then there was a snake who wanted to kill Moshe. And Tzipora, when she saw the snake that he wanted to kill Moshe, she understood that the snake wanted to kill Moshe because he did not do the Brit Milah to his son. So what she did, she went and she took a knife. There is somebody who said she did the Brit Milah with her mouth. And there is some who said no, she did the Brit Milah with a stone. So you see that Tzipora, she was a big tzaddiket. I would like just to tell you one thing. Just imagine that Tzipora will not do the Brit Milah to the last baby. The snake will kill Moshe. If the snake will kill Moshe, so there will be the Jews who will deliver them. There will be a problem. There was not somebody equal to Moshe at that time. So it's like Tzipora saved the whole Jews. It's B'zchut Tzipora, with this merit of Tzipora, that she had a quick reflex. The snake want to kill my husband because he did not do the Brit Milah to the baby. And quick she did the Brit Milah. And when she did the Brit Milah, the snake left Moshe and went. So you see that Miriam, Tzipora, she was a big tzaddiket. She knew. And I would even say that Miriam, she had a big hashpa'ah on Moshe. I mean, I'm sure that Moshe Rabbeinu said to Miriam, thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Tzipora. I'm sure that Moshe said to Tzipora, you saved my life. By saving my life, you saved the life of the whole Jews. Thank you. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the snake wanted to kill Moshe because he was looking for a hotel. Hashem said to Moshe, if you take time to look for a hotel, that means that you want to stay here. If you want to stay here, so you have to do the Brit Milah first to a baby. And because Moshe Rabbeinu was started to look for a hotel, before doing the Brit Milah, he was punished. Okay, Moshe. Hashem said to Moshe, I will not punish you because you're gonna travel. Because you travel, I will not punish you. But now that you are looking for a hotel, so first do the Brit Milah to your baby, then find yourself a hotel. You understand the reason?
Yes.
I mean, okay, as long as you have a problem because you have to go travel, okay, I will not punish you, because somebody who wants to have to travel in the desert is not allowed to do the Brit Milah. Because we're not allowed. That's why the Jews in the desert, for 40 years, they did not do the Brit Milah. For 40 years. They did not do the Brit Milah. Because anytime Hashem, He will tell them, go there, go there, go there. So Hashem, He said, well, there is no Brit Milah. But once, when you live in a place, and you have a steady place, you have to do the Brit Milah. So here you see, Tzipora, she was a big tzaddiket. So, Tzipora, after the Brit Milah of the baby, when they left after the hotel, go to Egypt, Aharon, he said to Moshe, Moshe, who's this woman? Who's the children? This is my wife. This is my children. So Aaron said to Moshe, Moshe, we have already problems with the Jews that are in Egypt. You want to bring another people there? So Moshe Rabbeinu sent her back to her parents. So now you understand that Tzipora, a tzaddiket like Tzipora, she pushed her father. Because don't forget, her father, he was a rich man. He was considered like a big priest. And it was hard for him to leave Egypt, Midian. It was not easy. So even that he heard all miracles that Hashem did to the Jews. And Tzipora, she's a Jew now. She's married to Moshe. And he is a grandfather. And the children are Jew. Gershon and Eliezer. But it was not ready to go. How can I leave this place? It was hard for him to leave. So Tzipora was there. She pushed him. She gave him a good influence. Papa, after all what you heard, you cannot stop. Allez, get out. Get out. Anyone who wants to be a good Jew, he needs chizuk. When Hashem gave the Torah to the Bnei Israel, and Hashem paralyzed the world, when Hashem he said, Anochi, the whole world, the whole nations, they came to Bilam. They said to Bilam, this is the end of the world. He said, no. Hashem is giving the Torah to the world, to Am Israel. This is not the end of the world. Balaam is a bastard. Bilam is a rasha. He's a mamzer. Instead of Bilam telling the people, the nations, Hashem paralyzed the world for the glory of His Torah, for the glory of the Jews. Let's go. And they received the Torah. He told them, no, the Torah is only for the Jews, not for us. He was a big Yitzhara. Maybe Torah as well, he said, well, the Torah is not for me, for them, not for me. But Tzipora said, no, for you as well. For you, said Papa, how can I covet myself and my children, not you? You understand?
Yes.
So that's what happened. Now you understand why Yitro came when he heard Kriyat Yam Suf. Now you understand, because Tzipora pushed him. The nations know what to push them. The Rasha of Bilam, instead of pushing them, he did not push them. It's not for you, it's for them. How much it's important when a man is married and his wife, she push him to go to synagogue. She push the children, good education. How much a woman can do in the house for her husband. The Gemara said that when Mashiach will come, Be'ezat Hashem, they will be Techet HaMitim, the whole people, all people, they will resuscitate, they will come to Techet HaMitim. So the Gemara said, what about women? They did not study Torah, because the Gemara said only people who study Torah, they will resuscitate. So the Gemara said, what about women? So a man will resuscitate, not his wife. What about his mother and his grandmother? So the Gemara said, no, even the woman will resuscitate. Why? Because if the man achieved to be a bin Torah, if the man he achieved to be a good Jew because of his mother, because of his wife. The wife gives the education to the children. So all what the children will be one day is because of the mother, is because of the mother. So the woman has a big zichut. All the zichut of the man is because of the woman. So of course there is it when the Mashiach will come. You understand?
Yes.
So now you understand why Tzipporah, she gave to her father. Just imagine when Moshe Rabbeinu he was in Egypt, who took care about the children, Eliezer and Gershon? The mother, Tzipporah. The father was not there. And then they went to Egypt, they went to receive the Torah after. How much is important when a woman give a good hashpah to the husband, to the children? As we see here, the hashpah that Tzipporah did give to her father. Last Shabbat, after a beautiful Shabbat that we had, the new Beit HaMidrash that we opened in Paris 17, there was a boy, 16-year-old boy. He came to me. He told me, Rabbi David, I want a blessing. I want a bracha from you. Not for money, not for my study, not for health. I want a bracha that my parents will do teshuvah. I want my parents to keep Shabbat. It was so nice, the Shabbat that I spent here with you. Instead of the mother educate the children, it's the children who want a bracha for the mother. Now you understand why only those two things that Yitro heard, Ke'at Yamsuf and Amalek, that they were near him, that pushed Yitro to come. Ke'at Yamsuf and Amalek. All what Yitro heard, what happened in Egypt, of course, it was impressionnant. It was impressive, but that was far away. That was very far from Midian. But what happened with Ke'at Yamsuf and Amalek, that was near Midian. Don't forget that Amalek was near Midian. Just imagine that when the Amalekim, they went and they fight the Jews, and then they lose. And the Amalekim, they came back. Those who were left, that they were not killed in the fight, in the war. And they started to talk about what they saw. That a little bit of Jews with no arms, they fight us. And the Jews, millions of Jews, they received the man food from the Shamayim. We saw the Anani Kavod. We saw, the 7 clouds, yes?
Yes.
That Hashem, with them, He protected the Jews. All this, those Amalekim left, that they were not killed. They came, they were talking about what they saw. That impressed people. And that impressed more Tzipporah. And she pushed more her husband, her father, to come to convert himself. That's what helped. That when Yitro heard Ke'at Yamsuf and Amalek, he came. Because the hashpah, the influence, he got strength from his daughter Tzipporah. All nations, unfortunately, they have no one to learn, from no one to get strength to go to this desert to cover themselves. There is another rabbi who said that Hashem he gave the Torah to Am Yisrael when Paro he heard Ke'at Yamsuf, Milchemet Amalek, the war of Amalek, and the Torah that he gave to the Jews. Can you imagine when Yitro he saw the whole world was paralyzed in Matan Torah? So I'm sure that Tzipporah, she said to her father, Papa, how can you miss this? There is Hashem. Hashem, he's the boss. He's God. You cannot stay like that. Papa, let's go. That is well push Yitro to convert himself. So Be'ez Hashem, Let's hope that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help us, Be'et Hashem, to receive the Torah, and I pray to Hashem to give you Bracha V'Atzlach.